Headline: How Democrats could disqualify Trump if the Supreme Court doesn't. Without clear guidance from the court, House Democrats suggest that they may not certify a Trump win on January 6th.
Saw that. Isn't that an insurrection? Isn't that what we've decided? That's an insurrection.
On January. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Near the end of the Supreme Court oral arguments about whether Colorado could exclude former President Trump from its ballot as an insurrectionist, the attorney representing votes from the state offered a warning to the justice, one evoking the January 6th riot that had set the case in motion. By this point in the hearing, the justice made clear that they didn't like the idea of allowing a single state to kick Trump out over the presidential race, so they didn't appear comfortable with the court doing so either. Sensing that Trump would likely stay on the ballot, the attorney, Jason Murray, said if Supreme Court didn't resolve the question of Trump's eligibility, it would come back with a vengeance after the election when Congress meets once again to count and certify the votes of the Electoral College. It will come back with a vengeance on January 6th. Are you kidding me? And this with Fannie, but Willis, she's coming in. If there's no law in Georgia, there's no law in New York, no law in D.C., and they decide on January 6th to come back with a vengeance, you know there will be demonstrations all over, and then they overturn the election. What the hell has been happening for the last 4 years?
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously like a major concern. And that's why I think that for me, the Fannie Willis story is interesting. I mean, I like more than anything else just picking apart their horrible stories, which is just hilarious to me. But at the end of the day, the political implications of this are really interesting.
Huge.
Because, if you look at the polls, you have a certain section of people who are voting for Trump who say if he's convicted of a felony, they will not vote for him. Now, do you believe that? I am skeptical of that claim. Like, I'm skeptical of someone who says they are voting for Trump now, and if he gets convicted of a felony, my belief is they will find a way to talk themselves out of the felony really mattering and will vote for Trump anyway.
Unless they're Democrats. Now, Democrats could easily be saying that.
Right.
Of course they're saying that.
And it could be, but people,
you know what they're saying on
independents, people in the middle, people who don't follow this stuff every day. But if there is a high-profile case like this Fannie Willis situation where one of the big accusations against Trump blows up spectacularly, I think it's going to give a lot of people, okay, they got him on this. Maybe they get him on the documents case later on. But in people's minds, I think it's going to be cemented that a lot of this was just crazy political attacks. And that's what Trump politically needs to convince people of.
Yes.
He needs to be able to get people over that line to think this actually was unfair. Certainly this has worked with Republican primary voters. But remember, he can't win this election with just Republican primary voters.
I know.
He's got to win it with people in the middle. And those people who are vulnerable to the mainstream media's narratives here, if you have one of these big accusations blow up like this, it may just give him a pass on all of them.
Well, I think that I'm only taking this from the left and the Democrats, so maybe it's not true. But I've heard since Bill Clinton that when you persecute somebody like this and you're unfair and you use the court system to go after them, what happens? What with the black population, Pat, according to their storyline?
They're sensitive to it.
And they will rally around that person, okay? So Trump has been saying, this might actually hurt them in the end with African Americans. MSNBC had a whole segment with somebody who was like, this is an outrage. What a racist thing to say. The chyron at the bottom of the screen, it said, Trump claims indictments appeal to black voters. Trump claims that? Well, I don't know. I learned that from the DNC.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah. And the only reason you were going after Barack Obama was because he was black. Our first black president was only black because he was involved in a scandal and everybody went after him. And so now you know what it's like to be a black man. I mean, I don't know which one it is. Which one is it? I'm hoping that scandals don't appeal to blacks. I'm hoping that truth appeals to blacks. But we've all been taught dutifully by the mainstream media and by the DNC that no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
So if you happen to be black and listening and you have something to say, I'd love to know. Which is it? Because that changes the dynamic if that's true.
It's just amazing that they keep trying to put people in these categories and appeal to them like this. Like, it's just like, appeal to individuals.
I wouldn't even have brought that up if it wasn't for MSNBC. I'm looking at this guy, Ron, and I'm like, wait, but that's what you've been saying forever.
Right. That is 100% what they've been saying, and it's how they treat the world, right? They treat the world with this weird prism of race all the time. Everything's seen through that. It's the most important thing about each and every one of us.
Yeah.
And look, it's a built-in defense for people like Fani Willis, right? Which when she goes to the black church, she says the reason they're persecuting me is because I'm black. Yeah. And even though she knew she had lied, she went to church and lied even more, and also used her own quote-unquote people as a defense mechanism to the lies she knew she was already making
crazy
to a court.
How you can lie and lie and lie to people, and to the media will be lied to, and they'll report on those lies, then expose those lies. They'll be exposed as lies, and everybody just keeps listening to the liars.
Yeah. They're complicit, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter.